Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us for another
Well,
episode of Talkin TI. Wait, what, Chris? What's up?
I was gonna say, let's say hello to
We'll say, well,
Adam
you
and
started
Bethany first.
recording. You started
Huh?
recording.
That's
Okay,
right.
we
We can
started
edit it. We
recording.
can do edits.
We'll do edits. Okay. So yeah, Chris, meet Adam and Bethany.
Hey
They
guys,
are very, very cool.
Hi,
Howdy.
Chris.
good to
How's
see
it
you
going?
guys.
You
See you
too.
guys.
Thanks for having us
So,
on.
yeah.
We'll get into it. No spoilers, but Mo has been telling me all the stories of Gen Con, so
Oh, awesome.
I feel like I'm in celebrity company right now.
And I promise you guys, I will let Chris do all the Gen Con talking. I'm so the way we're probably gonna I'm basically gonna ask all the fun intro stuff and then let him uh you know ask all about Gen Con stuff.
Okay.
So can I do an intro now, Chris, please?
Yes, let us do the official intro then.
Okay, good. All right, awesome. All right. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us for another episode of Talking TI with Mo and Chris. Today, we're sitting down with two very special guests, Adam and Bethany, husband and wife TI players that I first actually met at Gen Con. So, Adam, Bethany, thank you guys for joining us today.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Thanks. Hi.
Yeah, and thank you
Welcome,
for
guys.
joining us. Welcome.
As I was saying, I feel like I'm in the company of TI royalty right now, so I'm not worthy.
No. We're
You-
very humble winners.
Yes, you guys are, and it's funny that Chris says that because our gaming group has been teasing me about Gen Con for a while now, and Chris, you were on board with it.
Oh, absolutely.
We have one of our players who now always has to, whenever we play a game, he'll be like, "Oh yes," and no, one of the Gen Con finalists, and they don't say it in a fun way; they say it in a teasing way. So you're getting way better, treatment than I am. So there you go. Well, cool. Well, thank you guys for joining us. We're really, really glad to have you guys on the show. And I told you guys when we met at Gen Con that I thought it was really, really awesome. I mean, I know there's a lot of husband and wife duo, like, people play TI. My wife actually plays TI. I've got a lot of people whose spouses play TI, but you guys are special because you both play it well enough to go and love it enough to go to a tournament, compete in that tournament, and then make it to the final round. So I thought that makes you guys very, very celebrities in the TI world, in my opinion. So this kind of leads me to my first kind of interesting question that I've been curious. How did you guys get into TI?
That one's fun. This was 2017. I stumbled upon the Shut Up and Sit Down review of TI, and I was like, I have got to own this game with no one to play with, like at all. And so I think we met in 2017.
At the end, yep.
Yeah. And another friend of ours who's interested in sci-fi and everything, I convinced both of them to sit down in my little apartment and play a three-man game for the first time. And it took a while, but
Yeah, we didn't know what we were getting into.
Yeah,
We
that too.
played on a coffee table. So if you play TI, you can't play on a coffee table.
No.
Like maybe if you're 20 and your back holds up, but otherwise 8 hours like hunched over.
Yeah.
Yeah, we quickly realized we didn't know what we were doing.
And
And I'm
had
pretty
any
sure
of you
we
played
played
before?
with
Huh?
what?
Had any of you played before?
No, first time.
Never
Wow.
heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's so funny that you guys played on coffee table. I think I think there was a TV show. It was like a geeky TV show. I can't even remember what it is now, so I'm sure somebody's going to comment about it. But it had a TI somewhat set up on a coffee table, and I remember the joke was, I was like, "There's no way! Like that's
Right.
somebody
not.
didn't think about this game because it is not a coffee table game."
Exactly.
Yeah. So then we played it again like a couple weeks later, and then we're like, this is amazing. We got to try it with 6 people. And so, talked 2 other couples into playing. Didn't go over as well, but it was still a lot of fun.
Yeah, it
Now
was
what?
hard to get the length of the game.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
the length tends to be the hardest part. Now, what did you guys love about it?
Everything, like it just the scope of it and the way that you could. I really enjoy the way that you can play the table, kind of like poker,
Hmm.
uh, and just the interactions really kind of can make or break what happens. That part I love.
I just like the fact that after we were done playing, I couldn't stop thinking about how much better I could have done. Like it was that puzzle that you have to fix.
Yeah.
So that was what made me want to play again. It's like, okay, I'll play again, but I'm going to do this next time. And then it never quite works out because the game is never the same. So that feeling has not gone away
Yeah.
after we
Yeah.
played a lot of games. So
Yeah.
I think that's part of
Yeah,
it.
Adam, your poker analogy is perfect, and Bethany, I think what you said, very much touches upon how Chris and I feel after pretty much every game we play. It's like, I could have, if I had just done, I got to play that faction again and do it better.
Yeah, exactly.
It's that Matthew McConaughey meme that I keep referring to, but it's also that post TI hangover where you're like, oh man, I got to take a break, and then a day later you're like, oh, I got to get back in.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now, so how often do you guys play nowadays?
We do about one every month and a half.
Mm.
Roughly. We got some friends that live about 2 hours away, and so
Wow.
we'll drive over for a weekend,
Wow.
knock out a whole day, play, and then drive back.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome, actually.
It's kind of fun. We're in Birmingham, Alabama, and we got some friends in Atlanta, and that drive's not terrible.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's pretty hardcore, Adam. I mean, you guys driving 2 hours to play. I mean, granted, it's like once a month, a month and a half. But the fact that you drive 2 hours to play this game.
Mm.
yeah, it's fun. It's a good group of people. They're all teachers in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
They've all got like just this like will to try and at this point beat us.
Well, I mean, they enjoy playing just as much as we do. So I mean, we played with people where we try to introduce the game with, and, they've liked it, but either the length of the game or the complexity has really scared some people away.
Right.
So I always enjoy playing with people who want to be there as much as we do. And so that's a big thing that I think keeps us driving back there. And sometimes they come here every once in a while, but since we're the only ones here and there's like 4 or 5 or sometimes 6 of them there, it just makes more sense for us to do the drive.
Right.
Nice. What did they think of your GenCon experience, or at least you're coming back and what you had done?
They were very happy, especially since we are giving them a set of everything we got.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Nice.
Because we got twice,
twice
double the
twice,
amount of the stuff.
But they were pretty excited. I had to let them know, like, kind of like when we got back, like they're kind of the reason why we did as well as we did, because they're all super competitive and pretty strong players.
Mm-hmm.
So it was nice. They were like super
Congratulatory.
Thank you. Which is
You're very close.
Yeah. And just supportive of us going and doing it. And a little jealous because I think school had just started back for them.
Yeah.
So like 4 of them that were thinking about it, we couldn't come.
So you guys, not only were they able to vicariously live through you with this experience, but you came back, with the bacon. You really brought back. You were like, yeah, we didn't just go. We came back with stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's nice. We're looking forward. We're going this weekend to play with them again.
Oh, nice.
It'll be the first time since GenCon that we've been over there. So.
Oh, awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
that'll be great. So how many players do you guys got? Like a 6-player?
It's supposed to be a 6, and then it might be a 5, or it might even dwindle down to a 4 at this point. It's been tough scheduling. Well, college football starts.
Yeah.
So that's always a tough swing for people in the South. So
Yeah.
that's what we're fighting right now is that football schedule. So
Now, do you guys have any interesting what do we call it? TI war stories? I guess. I mean, with the games that you guys have played, not counting Gen Con, we'll talk about that later. But in terms of playing with your group, anything crazy, any kind of memorable experiences that pop out at you?
I think our second 8-person game, of the 8 people, a homeworld was taken 8 times, maybe.
oh,
My,
not the same homeworld.
Not the
but
same
yeah,
homeworld.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, wow,
I
that's
was
a lot of
like,
plastic.
but like I think like my homeworld was taken twice.
Twice, yeah.
Wow.
Yours was taken once.
Yeah.
Whoa!
It was a free for all at the end. I think we had
Yeah.
just like saved up a lot of resources, and then everybody was within striking distance, so it was cutthroat.
Yeah, it was rough.
Yeah, but
I don't think I've ever been in that cutthroat of a game ever. I mean, Chris, have we ever seen a game?
That's what we were talking about earlier today, Mo, was we played nice. We're like, like it's yeah. I mean, I think but this kind of gets back to some of the other discussions we've had, which is just the different metas for different TI games. And the game I was on Friday was pretty not cutthroat, but pretty in your face. But I think, Mo, when we play kind of our games with just our friends, I don't want to say it's nicer, but it's a little more diplomacy oriented. Not diplo, but there's a lot more wheeling and dealing, more of agreements rather than just naked brutal aggression.
Yeah, and like the game we played last night, which you or yesterday rather, that you couldn't join. We hadn't even started the game, and people were already talking, going, "Okay, so hey, if I take this, will you take that?" And I was like, "Guys, we haven't even sat down at the table yet. We had just showed up to the guy's house, and they were already talking about how they can." He's like, "Well, if I take warfare, I can help you out with this way," and I was like, "Wow!" So they were negotiating before the game even started. So I guess and then one of our other players commented that we wash trade goods without sometimes for free just because of goodwill and.
Yeah, we do that too. And at the tournament, I don't know if you encountered this. Like when I proposed, I was like, "Will you wash?" And someone just gave me this look like, "What?"
Like, you're crazy, right? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, yeah. Or like if I offered to do it, they're like, "And you want nothing?" And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, we're neighbors. Like,
goodwill goes a long way."
Yeah. And so it's just interesting to see, like, you play with the same people all the time, you kind of fall into this like rhythm of what deals you're willing to make and what's on the table. So it was interesting to play with complete strangers for the first time.
I totally. Didn't I tell you the same thing, Chris? It was it was the same. It was you hit the nail on the head, Bethany, because I had the same thought. Because as soon as I sat down, nobody knew each other, and everybody just had this like, staring each other down. And I'm like, well, I'm not used to this because it was like it felt like poker. You had to size everybody up like that. And so I started just sort of being like, "Hey, so where are you from? Hello, let's talk."
Nice and friendly. I remember that too. It was kind of like, "Hey, you're playing Cabal. This is fun. What can we work out? Let's get this going. We'll be friendly. You need to backstab me. That's fine. I understand it. But
I get it.
Let's start off, and
we can at least talk. Even if you're going to backstab me later, let's at least start by talking."
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad that wasn't the only one who thought that. Yeah,
but I think that speaks to the versatility of the game. And we'll jump right into the Gen Con experience, but I always find that there are just so many different levels of TI where we can have a friendly game of 6 nerds rolling dice, or we can just have a pickup game where you don't know anybody and everybody might be an asshole, might be really timid, like the game I played on Friday. But for Josh, everybody was pretty just like, "I'm gonna stay in my slice, please don't hurt me." So I think just getting people's personality through the game is wonderful. Anyway,
well, before we get into the Gen Con stuff, Chris, I do have one. So how is it? I always how is it being a husband and wife duo that's very good at the game? You're both very good. Do you tend to ally, or do you tend to actually end up being against each other all the time? Has Adam, have you ever ended up sleeping on the couch as a result of a game? I mean, things like that I'm curious about.
I think we had one evening where it was like maybe 10 to 15 minutes after the game was over, just kind of like, I'm just gonna be quiet and sit here for a minute and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's pretty much just like we know we're playing a game,
Yeah.
and we know that to win, like you gotta do what you gotta do. So it's never really been like that much of an issue, because like no one in our group ever like really tries to kneecap anybody,
Yeah.
in general. So
Unless for points. I mean, if it's points,
if it's a
fair
point,
game.
yeah,
If it's a point, it's fair game.
which is fair. Like we're all, like you gotta win
Right.
in a someone else's home system for a point. Like
Yeah.
sucks, but it's gotta happen. So you
Yes.
never really, right? But just taking someone's home system because like it's open doesn't really stop them from doing anything. Then it's not normally how we play. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's pretty good though. Like normally in these situations where we go to Atlanta and we'll just talk about the game the entire way back. And just be like, oh, I should have done this, oh, you had a great move when you did this. And so it's just a nice, kind of analyze afterwards, and not really bad. Like,
Well, I mean, we also kind of know each other very well, obviously. So when we go to play, and he really likes making deals. That's his thing. And he'll make my most annoying things is he proposes a deal that's too good to deny. And so you've got to take the deal because he's found the thing that you need. And he's like, oh, I'll give you this if you give me that. And I know in the back of my head that he's getting something more out of it just because we've done this enough times. And that's always how it works out. So it's very mental. It's just like, I've got to do this, but I don't know
I don't want to.
how bad this is going to be until later.
right.
And then so doing enough of those deals and then watching other people agree to those deals early game. I think one of the last games we played before Gen Con was Winu. And Muat made a deal, like a really good deal with them. And I was like, do you know what you're doing? Do you know that the rest of this game is going to be us versus him?
Yeah.
And if you don't know that that's what just happened, that's what just happened. And so I had to like spend most of my game just like slightly annoying you. Just, well, I mean, Winu, he can
Yeah.
just score all the points. So yeah, and I hate doing that because I'd rather play to win instead of keeping someone
Playing to stop him from winning. Yeah.
But when we're in the game together and that happens, that I don't know if I'm more predetermined to either mess with you or not, but I just feel like I have to at that point if no one else. And I'm also, when I play, you can pretty much guilt me into doing
That's true.
pretty much whatever, which is good with playing with strangers because they didn't know that. But our group knows that if you're like, oh, if you don't take 8 right now, so and so is getting 8, so you better take 8. And I was like, well, you go before them. Why can't you take 8? And they're like, well, I'm not going to, but you better. And then that usually works for me.
Yeah.
But that's the good thing about playing with strangers. They don't know that.
Right,
but I guess I just said that. So
Yeah.
they know it now.
I don't think you have to worry about it. Don't worry. We don't have that many subscribers yet, so your secret is going to be safe for a while until we get there.
Excellent.
Yeah. So Chris, do you want to ask him some Gen Con stuff?
Yeah, I
I
think let's jump into it because I'm quite curious as to what the road to Gen Con was for you guys. Kind of how did you decide to enter the tournament? Was there like a training montage beforehand, a la Rocky IV?
Yes.
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 And what were your kind of expectations going in?
So we had never been to a con just at all, which this was a very fun experience. And anyone that likes board games should totally do it, which is awesome. But I guess last November, I decided to join the Space Cats tournament online, which it's just insane amount of people signed up for that. And I tried to get her to do it. She wasn't going to do it. And some of our friends in Atlanta were like, yeah, we don't want to like get online and do it. And then I think maybe, the day of my first game, the Atlanta group was like, biggest regret not joining this tournament. They wanted to do that. And she didn't want to play online and was like, if there's a in-person tournament, I'll go.
Yeah.
So just happened to be watching the 25-hour live stream for Fantasy Flights
Mhm.
and saw him hold up the, clear ships and was like, you can get this from coming to the tournament. Like, stopped the thing right there and was like, there's a tournament? What? So looked it up, got all the information ready, came home and was like, so you remember when you said you go to a tournament? There's one, it's close.
Yeah.
And magically she said, yeah, let's do it. So I think it was an hour and a half after that, we had a place booked and our tickets bought for the game, which was awesome. And then we decided we needed to get at least one 6-person game in.
Mhm.
Yeah, because I figured since all your tournaments online were 6-player, and we don't always play 6 players, and we played a lot 8, 5, just
Yeah.
a lot of random games. But 6 is actually a number we don't manage to hit a whole lot for some reason.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to do that.
So I think we ended up only getting a 5-man, but
Yeah.
it was about 2 weeks before
Mm-hmm.
we went and played, and basically the concept was we're playing to win.
So it was supposed to be the warm up for the tournament, really, that get you in the right mindset.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And honestly, I think it was one of my least favorite games ever.
Right.
Yeah, I mean it was a tough game. It was the game where he was Winu, and it just felt like having to play against you the whole time.
Yeah.
And then I had Minister of Peace at the end, and someone went for a homeworld, and we knew it was a point. So it was literally deciding, oh, if you don't win, and then he was going to win right after that. So
Yeah.
it was. I hate picking who's going to win if it's not going to be me. If I'm not, like.
Yeah.
If I'm not outright winning, I don't want to just like say, okay, you're the winner. Just, I don't know, because we played for so long. I mean, if the whole table wants that to happen, it's fine. But, we play with the same people over and over again. And I didn't want to just be like, well, you can't win, you win. Because it's a powerful card. I mean, at the end, before that, it may not be, but.
Well,
so I just hated doing that. It felt
a lot of us got a taste of how you feel about king making and queen making, Bethany, at GenCon. So this absolutely colors that in a little bit.
And that's what I kept thinking about the whole time that saga was going down. I was just like, oh, this again. Okay. But I was on the other side of it, so it was a little bit more enjoyable, but still.
Yeah.
But we did that.
Yeah,
and then I mean, yeah, you did kind of catch me off guard, and we decided to do it last minute. I think if I had sat around and thought about it more, I might have bailed. Like, honestly, just because I didn't know what we were getting into. But I'm glad we didn't. It was really fun, and I would absolutely do it again.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was good.
Nice. So Chris, did you have something you want to ask?
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, up until the final 8-player game, you guys hadn't been paired or put in a game for the preceding 2 days.
No.
Right?
So
yeah,
day 1, we were on separate tables.
Yeah.
Day 2, we got paired on the same table as a 5-man game.
Mhm.
Oh,
And
okay.
I believe it was Josh who came over and was like, we are really sorry you got paired together. We tried to do it as fair as possible, but we're all really wanting to see what happens once this gets going.
Wow. Okay.
And so like, thanks. And he caught by surprise because she fired back. It's okay. The trophy's coming home with us one way or another.
Oh, wow.
I was
Ooh.
joking.
Yeah, it's a complete joke, but
Man.
I was joking.
Dang.
it worked.
Yeah.
Wow.
Called it.
I like that. That's the attitude you got to have. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we were just starting the game, so I didn't want to, set the right precedent for that second game. But yeah, at that point I was like, oh, this is not going to end well.
Yeah, I mean, after day one, we both had accomplished kind of what we had set out to do,
Yeah.
which was win a game, and then we had, we could play the second day, and then we'd have 2 more days to go and do everything at GenCon and enjoy that.
That's kind of how I felt. It's funny because you say that because I was like, you know what? I just want to make it to day one. I want to get a good game in and win and say I made it to round 2. And then round 2, win or lose, I don't care. If anything, lose, I get to actually enjoy the con, which, we know we didn't really get to. It was very hard to enjoy the con. But I kind of felt the same way. But you guys, the odds of both of you advancing, which only 2 people could advance from a game, and it was 5 players. That's tough.
We got real lucky. Like, so day one for me, the Mahawk player said he couldn't make day 2. He was going to try and win, but it's okay if he doesn't. And just did some weird stuff. Like, I need to have everyone's token. I was like, I've got to have it. And so that's what he went for. And then day 2, we had another player who's like, I'm playing to win, but I'm not going to be there day 3.
Oh, wow.
He was also Mahawked and did the exact same thing of like, I'm collecting tokens. That's what I need to do to win. I'm going to be super aggressive early.
Yeah, really early.
Yeah, and it just shot himself in the foot.
And with the 5, you kind of sometimes you end up with natural pairs in the game, and with a 5-man, you're the one left out, and he was aggressive really early, and he
was left out, so it was a 2v2.
Yeah, he got left behind, and then our game again went super long. But all my games went extremely long. I'm trying not to think that that's my fault, but it might be. Who knows? So that one. But that one mostly went long because we had so many control objectives. So you just had to sit and fight over every scrap of land. You couldn't get anything for free where you just throw some trade goods out there and score a point. So
that one was good. We didn't actually pair up in that game.
No, we didn't. We were on opposite pairs. Yeah.
You talk about the 5. So, my God. So the 5-player game where it was 2, 2, and 1.
Yeah.
You weren't even the 2.
Nope.
No.
Wow.
Not really.
Yep. I paired with the guy to my right, and she paired up with the guy to her
my left.
Yeah.
So.
And just out of the blue, all of a sudden they support swapped, and I was like, oh, okay, well that's an early support. Let's see what happens. And went with it.
That is impressive.
At the end, the whole game I wasn't playing okay, let's get us, I was just trying to survive and play the game well. And until it got to the last round where I knew I had to win and I was uncertain what you had. But then he started doing some weird stuff on the board and I was like, oh, he's got something. He wouldn't be doing random stuff that I don't know what he's doing without some intent. So at that point, I was just kind of like, well, if we play this right, it might work out. Surprisingly. So, but that didn't happen until the last round to where I thought, oh, okay, well, let me not disrupt whatever he's doing. I'll just focus and score my points and make sure I'm getting there. And then hopefully that works out. And it did. Yeah. So he won that one. And then I scored right after him.
Oh, wow.
Because I think everyone pretty much had points. Yeah. It was just scoring order, and he had the Nalu 0 token. He was not Nalu,
but he had the token. That's right. You told me. I remember you told me about that.
How did you get that? How did you pull that off?
Some deal making magic. I don't even know.
Wow. Shame on you, Nalu.
It was after he gave it to me. He kind of looked over and was like, "You've just screwed me, didn't you?"
Yeah.
You really did.
And I was like, yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah.
I kind of did.
It was a lot.
Wow.
Basically, I don't want to be Nalu anymore. Here you go.
Yeah. It was rough. The 2 guys, the Soul player and the Nalu player, were kind of going at it for most of the game. Yeah. And so I kind of, whenever that happens in a game, I love playing against it so that the other people at the table don't really have to deal with 2 players now.
Right.
And so
Oh,
we
you
have,
just stay out of it.
yeah, stay out of it.
Don't pick sides.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or
Let
help
them
them
fight.
both equally.
Yeah, you're like, hey, that's
Yeah.
cool. You
Yeah,
do your
do it.
thing. How
Good
can I
job
help?
attacking. Yeah.
That's right. Man, I didn't even know. So I didn't even know all that when I saw you guys outside the Indianapolis Convention Center afterwards, Indiana Convention, and you told me you both won. I didn't know that you guys were, in the same game, let alone on different allies. That's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Nuts.
So
And
the
I thought
final
it-
game. So let's get down to the brass tacks.
All right.
So what are your takeaways on it? Obviously the last point has some mythology around it right now.
Yeah.
So and
Yeah.
what are your overall thoughts on how that went?
Well, the last game was interesting. They had set it up a little bit better for like where you were going to sit, because the first 2 days, well, I guess the second day they kind of
It was
fixed it too.
random, yeah. They
Yeah, it
fixed
was
that
totally
stuff day two.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first day was a little like, oh,
I'm sitting
I'm
here.
sitting here. I would not have.
I mean,
picked
I was
this
just
range.
standing here, but okay. Yeah.
So the second day was a little better. Third day, I remember listening to your comments about it with the races. I would have liked the races a little differently,
Yeah.
but I guess play with what you're dealt kind of
Mhm.
mentality, right?
Yeah.
I had gotten 2 of the races from day one again.
See? Yeah.
Yeah, and I was
Yeah.
like, well, I'm gonna do the third one because it's it's different. Let's see
Yep.
what happens.
Yep.
But everyone was super friendly at the table, which was nice. And from what I gathered, everyone that was there figured out for days 1 and 2 is you're playing to advance.
Mhm.
And some people like never really grasped that concept.
Oh, in our first 2 days.
First 2 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
So right off the bat, knew that we're playing with strong players. Everything's going to kind of be like not watched, but they're going to analyze what you're doing. You'd be like, okay, I think they're going to be doing this. If I need to counter it, I'll get set up here.
Yep.
Which was neat. And I, for even no one was specifically out of it. We were all tired by the end.
Mhm.
But had it gone another round, it could have been anybody's game.
Yeah.
But in the round where we ended, there were two clear people who were going to win, and it was neat to get that shakedown ready to go.
Yeah.
It was exciting, right? Like just sitting down at the table and being ready to go, and then finding out we're getting the complete set of ships.
Yeah.
So just like going into that one, that was the most like I'm here to play and have fun.
Mhm.
This is going to be a good day, regardless of what happens.
Yeah.
As far as the last point goes, I think that will probably like haunt me forever. Because I mean, it was such a stupid thing to forget. But I mean, we've been playing for 3 days straight.
Yeah.
So tired, just so tense that whole time. And later you were like, you could have just traded with me, like alliance or something. But earlier in the game, everyone, I say earlier, but it was like half an hour or 1 round earlier, which probably would have been like an hour. But it was a different vibe of, everybody, no one wanted to do trades really with me. I mean, other than yourself, everybody else didn't really want to do trades with me because I was ahead in points. So I had just drawn a secret objective, and then I go to like randomly get your alliance that I don't need. I just figured everyone's going to see straight through that and no good.
Yeah.
But I didn't really pick up that the mood of the table had changed so much until I had actually messed up.
Yeah.
And
then then you realized. Yeah.
And then when everyone was still like, yeah, let's do this, I was like, oh,
Oh wow, yeah.
okay. Because I mean, honestly, in a normal game, that probably wouldn't have got. If we had played for 3 days straight for 8 to 10 hours, people had to leave. That never would have happened, and then I think it probably would have swung to somebody else just because I was really all I had.
Yeah.
I had nothing else after that. So
It ended. It ended up. I think it really ended up working out in the best way possible because to me it showed how really awesome and this community is really, and I think Josh even said the same thing. It was like, wow, yeah, we said that even though this is the tournament, it's for the trophy and the blah blah blah. At the end of the day, we're all here to enjoy this game and have fun, and we all want to walk away smiling. And so I thought that actually ended up working out real well. I thought it was really funny that you were the only one who didn't see it until it happened.
Yeah, I was just like, I don't know, just blinders.
I'm gonna make you feel good about that because the game I played yesterday, I had swapped supports with somebody who's very good at the game. His name is James. And the funny thing is, towards the end of the game, he ends up attacking me for a point. And he does it, wins the thing. And I'm like, oh, man, you messed me up. You messed me up. And as I'm sitting there, I'm going, well, I guess I'm going to have to attack you. Hey, give me my support back. It was like one of those, like, and he was like, oh, shoot, what? And I'm like, yeah. And it was, I'd forgotten that we had swap supports. He'd forgotten that we had. So it was one of those things where he was like, oh, man. So I'm telling you, it happens. Especially when towards the end and you did it if you swapped it early or whatever. So it's funny. Anyway, just wanted to make you feel good about that. That happens all the time.
Thank you. I appreciate that because like now that's basically rule number one, It's it was not a good thing, but yeah. I appreciate that someone else has had that same pain of
it's a function of the tunnel vision that you get when you're trying to score an objective,
Yeah.
I've had more pain than you can even talk about, so don't worry.
So with that, I just to get it a little not spicy, but I am always curious. How do you guys feel about support for the throne? This is always a question that I feel like I want to ask everybody because there's a lot of different there's different viewpoints. Chris and I have a viewpoint. I know the SCPT guys, Matt and Hunter have a viewpoint about it. I want to hear what you guys think about sports.
It's a component of the game, so I'm behind it. If the person on the receiving end doesn't want it, like I understand, like, hey, they want to do their own thing, that's fine, but I don't really have a problem like with it at all. If I have it's the only thing is like if I've got a shot to win, like in the last round, I'd kind of be like, don't trade it. Hold on, like we still something's going on. I might try to do whatever I can to stop it, but it's a transaction, so I can't be mad at it, right? Because it's built into the game.
Yeah.
I don't like to draw first blood on support swaps because it creates a chain effect. Everybody starts pairing up pretty quickly. So that's generally I try not to. Unless, push comes to shove. And in that final game, I was one of the first two to swap because Titans and we were ahead. And so it just seemed advantageous because it was like no one else was going to make that trade with us and we didn't want to be left out. So, but yeah, generally I let someone else do it. And then I find from whoever's left over, who's my best chance at that point. But I mean, I think, playing a game without them is interesting, is a different aspect to the game. But again, at the end, it does change the way who you can attack. And it can make or break your game if you swapped with the wrong person. So you're right. It's just an aspect of the game. So it's another layer, but late game support swaps can really screw it up if you're not part of that support swap. If you're on the outside looking in, it's a little tough because it's a point and you have nothing that you can do about it. So
yeah, makes sense.
What do y'all think?
A little bit of it's actually a mixture. I mean, Chris, go ahead. Yeah, you go.
No, I changed my tune a lot on this. I used to be very dogmatic against them. I don't really like them, to be honest with you, for various reasons that I won't pontificate too much about. But lately, I have been becoming a fan of just play the game as it's written, if you will. So they are part of the game, and you know, a lot of people like to create these crazy, you can't do direct swaps or certain rules around them. And I just get tired and I say, you know what, if we're going to play with them, play with them. If we're not, we're not.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. No, I think, and I'm kind of along the same line. I agree with what you guys said. It's a little bit of a mixture of what you both said. It's in the game, Adam, like you said. It's in the game, so you play with it. And I like how you said, well, if somebody wants to do it and it's gonna change the win conditions and stuff like that, for you say, I'll do everything I can to convince that player not to do it. That's a really good and great way to look at it, sportsman-like way of like, hey, let me, can I convince you not to do this? I appreciate that a lot. I think that's a good way to do it. I personally, I'm starting to move more towards you and what Chris said about, yeah, it's in the game, so we play with it in the game, but I try to highly discourage the swaps just because it changes the table meta, right? Especially in a 6-player game, these people swap, and then all of a sudden these 2 people swap, and then before you know it, it's 2-2-2. I really try to avoid that just because it makes for, in my opinion, somewhat less interesting games. And then if it's a odd numbered game, then it's completely, then it's really unfair to one player. But at the end of the day, I think, TI is a diplomatic game with negotiation and stuff like that. So it really does boil down to, can you convince the table not to do it? And sort of, and I think that's really the best way to do it. And I think we're slowly kind of, but when Chris and I first started talking about sports, the first, we both were like, they should just be out. And now we're sort of kind of, smoothing that to, well, we discourage it, but it's a negotiation thing, not a hard rule, house rule sort of thing.
So I have a question, guys. What are your favorite factions to play, and what are your least favorite factions? And
okay. My least favorite is Hakan. Just straight out. Can't stand it. I mean, the trading aspect of the game is necessary evil, but it is not my favorite part.
Wow.
Yeah. Just because it's the lack of skill, I would say. I mean, just to like make those deals. And I do hate just like sitting and having people make deals for 30 minutes. It slows the game down so much. And when Hakan is in the game, that goes way up, because then you can trade on anybody's turn almost essentially, and then you can trade action cards, and it's just this whole thing, and it can really slow it down. So that's my least favorite, but that is probably just more my lack of skill in that area than anything else. And then
it's an interesting answer.
Yeah. I think from the very beginning, I was just like, no, that's not for me. I think I've only played them like one time. Lost to them many times. Only played them once. And so as far as favorites go, I don't know if I have an outright favorite. But I have a lot of mechanics I like. I really like the Mahawked mechanic. Never won with them. I want to win with them, but it just hasn't happened yet. And anything that's kind of adaptable, I enjoy, because that, if I can play a game where, maybe things aren't going my way and I can swing it through just adapting what's on the board, those are my favorite games, win, lose, or draw, for sure. So things like Necro and stuff like that, where you can make changes on the fly, I enjoy that a lot.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Ghosts is hands down my favorite race.
Really? Wow. I played Ghosts the other day and got my butt kicked. Just straight up. Like, Mo came over and he looked at my board and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like,
he had a star ball right next to the Creus gate.
I had three ships. I had 3 ships. I was like,
he had 3 ships. I looked at it and I'm like, well, good luck, Chris.
I was like, I can make a wormhole and like go back home and cry. Like,
it's tough. It's usually if I have a good game, I don't have a lot of plastic on the board, and it's somehow just kind of worked pretty well. But that's my favorite. Like, I can go where I need to and do what I need to, and I can make good trades to help other people move around the board,
Hmm.
which is the real selling point of, I think, the race.
Yeah.
They're just
Yeah.
like, you need help getting there? I can help you.
It's a very good faction for a master negotiator
There
who's
you go.
like, hey, I can facilitate anything. You know,
Yeah, let's
I'm
do
surprised Hakan isn't one of your favorites because Bethany, it's funny. I'm kicking myself to this day for not picking Hakan
Oh,
of
you
the
had
three I
it?
had. Yeah, I had Hakan, Extra, and Mahat. And the only thing is, I had played Mahat just the day before, and I'm like,
Right,
I don't
right.
want to play. And the thing is, the guy who was playing Titans I played against him as Titans, and he picked Titans again. So I'm like, great, we're gonna have another Titans Mahat game. So I was like, no, not
Yeah.
Mahat.
it.
And the only other option between that was Extra and Hakan. And I remember thinking, because there was a little bit of that around the table talk of oh man, Hakan, there's going to be all like, here we are at a tournament, we don't want some guy to sit there and just be chatty about deals. So I shied away from Hakan, but to this day I'm like, that, oh god, that's what I should have picked.
Man,
But
I
I'm
was hoping
surprised.
you picked a con.
I see.
I was hoping for it.
Yeah,
I think it would have really changed the game having
tremendously.
Hakan there. Yeah, yeah.
I know.
It would have been interesting.
That 2 hour
Rematch,
drive
man.
you talk about where you drive back and you think,
Yeah.
I had 2 weeks of that. It was more like,
No.
you know,
I know. I got all the texts being like, "Why? Why didn't I do it?"
What?
Let's
Yeah.
see. So once,
What do you not like?
I don't like L1 a lot.
Oh, wow!
Just-
Never heard
Yeah.
that before.
I don't know. It just doesn't suit my
Okay.
play style, kind of. I don't like POK Extra. I like
Mm.
Codex 3 Extra.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
true.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
But the hero aspect of no one gets to interact at all.
Mhm.
It's just the
in
spin the
lost
wheel
act.
thing.
Yeah, it doesn't do well.
And I think the extra, I played the extra. I wish there were Critics 3. It would have completely changed it,
Yeah.
in my opinion. It's funny, Adam, that you say that, but I'm glad you said that because I've heard people say that they don't like the new extra changes. I think they're great. I think they were needed.
Yeah.
So especially that hero, I just was never a fan of it. We call it the spin to win hero, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 Well, I mean, if you've ever played a game where someone's just popped their extra hero and won out of the blue when everybody's planning to go another couple rounds,
Mhm.
then you've got to like the changes. And we've
Yeah.
definitely had our friend in Atlanta came out of nowhere and just played the hero, scored like 2 points.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Scored 9 points. Or he was at 4, scored 5 points in that round.
Right, but 2 off the hero.
2 off the
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was
Wow.
It was a shocker. It was like
Yeah.
it was our shortest game ever.
yeah.
Well, if somebody scored, that'll do it. That'll do it. 5. Yeah, that'll
It was
do it.
brutal.
It was nuts. Nuts.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, those the ones that have like a straightforward kind of gimmick that you can't really adapt, like
Yeah.
which I would put L1 in there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mintac as well, kind of like
Interesting.
it does its own thing, and
I like Mintac,
that's
though.
kinda- yeah.
I like a good cruiser faction.
Yeah.
Will get me every time.
Mirror
too.
computing is like so fun and
Mm-hmm.
that's good. My other one's like Argent. I really like Argent,
yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
I feel like I've got options to move around a little bit better and do some
Yeah.
things.
You're movement based. You like being able to get around the board and be able to
Mhm.
talk to everybody and interact with everybody.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. And that's one of the reasons why I'm surprised. I thought, Hakan would certainly be the ability to simply trade with anybody at any time.
Well, so most of our games, Hakan gets banned outright.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
We're a bunch of Hakan haters in our
Yeah.
group.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
on the flip side of that,
I think it's because you're in the game with us.
that
And we're all just like, no, no, no.
so Hakan and Ghost are banned
Really?
outright. Yeah.
Why the
I don't have
Ghost?
This
them-
is a bizarro world. This is like
Yeah.
bizarro world.
it's because of me. They don't want me playing the faction.
He'll have like back-to-back wins with the same faction,
Wow.
and then it just gets blacklisted.
No, Titans is automatic blacklist in our games. Period.
Same for us. It
Hands down.
gets killed a lot. Yeah.
But yeah, we'll let it in and then we'll like close it down
Yeah.
real early. And just like, no, you don't get to go out more than 2 planets.
Right, right. No, I mean I've actually started just saying, guys, we just can't have a Titan. Like it's a whole different game when Titans is involved, and I like to play different. Like, so it's a variety here.
Exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
and some of the other ones that I'm not a fan of are kind of the more straightforward ones, like you said. Like Soul is good; they're extremely powerful, but I just get bored when I'm playing them for some reason. I don't know, it's just less fun, even though like it puts you in a really strong position to win. But I don't know.
You
The
like the
journey.
complexity that the variability. Like I noticed that. Like Mohawk is one of them. I think I like versatile races as well. So I'm surprised. Nomad, for example, I think is great because Nomad gives you a lot of options for different things you can do, and obviously with a whole multiple agents. But yeah, it makes sense. You know the ones that are very straightforward, they have a mechanic that you just do it like Soul. You just pump out infantry, take Mechatol, hold it. It's kind of like yeah. I mean,
What
of
do you do with
course,
the rest of your time? Why
yeah, right.
everybody else is trying to figure out how to stop you?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But they are extremely powerful, and when you play with them, you always gotta look out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just not my favorite.
Yeah.
Well, so it seems like Adam, it sounds like you're quite a master negotiator. Like that's because people don't want you to.
I like to make a deal, and I like to make you feel good coming out of the deal.
And
So,
that never happens. You always just feel like, what did I do? No.
normally you feel good for a round, and then the next round you're like, oh, that's why he did this. Okay, got it. And
Yeah.
I don't know, it just. But sometimes, like, I'll just do one that has no benefit to me at all, and
Yeah. Really? Okay. And what's the point of that? That's just to make a deal?
That's for people's heads.
yeah, they spend the next like 20 to 30 minutes trying to figure out how they got screwed, and
And they didn't.
they didn't.
Yeah.
And so it's
This is an aspect of playing with the same people over and over and over again, where
Yeah.
it becomes more mental than like just going through the mechanics of the game at
Right.
that point. So
yeah, that was one of the big things at Gen Con was like people would look at me like, why are you offering this? This doesn't help you at all. And I'm like, yeah, I know. It helps you, and it ultimately helps me because you're not attacking me. I'm giving you a
Yeah.
target somewhere else to do something that's beneficial to you, and just if goodwill gets you off my back for a little bit, I can either shore up some defenses or something.
Yeah.
So I guess there's no like bad deal.
Yeah.
I'll take advantage of it.
I don't know if you guys saw our most recent episode where we interviewed this TI player from France, but they actually had this. They have these archetypes, so they came up with archetype players, and you are clearly the guru, they call it. This is the player that is the wheeler and dealer who gives other players what they want, like resources or easy way through his territory, just to have them on his side. Whatever problem you have, he or she can help you with that in return for a small favor that will cost you nothing. Just trust them. ... That sounds like you.
Yeah,
yes.
that is correct.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, you guys, it was a pleasure playing against you both. I feel privileged that I met you, honestly. I truly, because I'm like, first of all, I remember I was like, hashtag relationship goals in terms of you guys both being at Gen Con and both playing TI. But you also were just a lot of fun as people, and you were the least annoying players for me at that table for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know it was a pleasure and a privilege to play with you and meet you guys.
No, it was a pleasure on this end as well.
Yeah,
Thank you a lot. It was fun.
Feel the same. It was a great game, and it was nice to actually get to play with you at the end because we had talked with you every day, and then it didn't happen until that last game. So
yeah, it was definitely one of those things where I'm like, oh great, we actually get to be in a game now finally. That's awesome.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. So Chris, what do you think? Any parting questions, curiosities about this awesome?
No, I'm just happy we got to do this. I'm really, really appreciative that you guys graced us with your presence.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you guys got to beat the crap out of Mo at Gen Con. So
Yeah.
So,
I'm kidding.
well,
I'm kidding.
one of us did.
Yeah.
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 I think I had help from the whole table.
Yeah.
Actually, there was a vote.
There was a vote. So.
There was a vote. Yeah.
But yeah, I look forward to Gen Con next year, actually. I mean, this is our first con, but I think we will be repeat offenders for sure.
It was a great con, and I honestly, I've never been. Like you guys, I only went for the TI tournament, and now I'm, TI tournament next year or not. I think it's probably one of the best con. I've been to a couple, but it's one of the best ones I've been to, and I'm definitely excited to go back. So hopefully we'll see you guys there, and I think Chris and I are planning on being at PAX Unplugged in Philadelphia, which is also, I can tell you, pretty good. So but there's a lot out there, but I really think that one was really, really good. There was a lot of really good stuff to see and do, and next time I'm looking forward to having more than half a day to enjoy it. So
Right.
Yeah. We'll make a weekend of it.
Yeah, cool.
Perfect.
Well, thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you
having
being
us
on the show.
Yeah, that was great.
Thanks.
All right.
Yes.
Thanks, guys. Check you later.
All right, have a good one.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
Bye.